All right, good morning, everyone. Maybe someone can type in the chat and just let us know you can hear us. I'm here with I Am Again. Just going to quickly run through the plan for today. So, where have I lost my stream? Where's it gone? Okay, so here we are. It's Thursday. Is it Thursday?
Wednesday.
Sorry,
It's
losing track
Wednesday.
of days. As soon as I said that, I'm like, that's not right. It's Wednesday. Wednesday 17th. So pretty busy day yesterday on the charts. Let's get into the 4 hour here. So here we are. Obviously, we've been building out this megaphone structure for the last couple of weeks here, and really just this last week, been riding along the bottom edge of it. I think for me, seems like we've had the full range of volatility in the last couple of weeks, and adapting to that has been interesting, kind of day by day, and trying to obviously not overtrade was the key yesterday. There were a bunch of different setups that people could have taken. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Just want to make sure people can hear us. But the big one from yesterday was the kind of the failed breakdown of the bottom of the range. It just about held onto the megaphone support there. So hopefully there wasn't too much over trading yesterday, and folks were able to get on the active failed breakdown that's still active today, which is down at 68.32, 36. I think there were a couple of interesting points on that one. Would maybe just touch on briefly in that. Yeah, first of all, we had the overnight kind of couple of lows here, right at 32. So that was obviously going to be the level to trade rather than 36 from the newsletter. 36 was a little bit higher, and Adam talked about this in the newsletter. We were getting this sort of type 1 acceptance here, and it looks even more, it looks even better on like a 5-minute chart. But just barcoding up and down, but several points below the level that we were interested in trading at. But he still considered all of this to be valid acceptance of the 32 level. So just something to note there. And then obviously we got the push up through. That was very nice. And then also a retest as well. So plenty of opportunities to get into a runner on that one. Hopefully everyone has got a runner for the evening, guys. There was the 42 last night. Didn't trade that one personally, but that was in there. So hopefully everyone's got a runner in place. I think it's worth noting that in the weekly range, we've been the weekly range from about 38 to 89. We're kind of up in the upper quadrant of that, maybe dipping a little bit now. So I kind of like to think of, to use the farming analogies. How fertile is the soil around here, and on the weekly this week so far, we're up certainly in the middle half and up in the upper quadrant as well. So news and earnings today, I don't think it's anything significant, nothing that I've noted. And obviously we're still in the middle of rollover. I haven't checked to see how far we are. If you want to see that, you can check that on CME to check the pace of the roll. But I'm assuming things are going to be, maybe I shouldn't assume, but I'm assuming a lot of this whipsaw yesterday was related to rollover. We were getting some pretty massive volume spikes come in momentarily, and it was generally a higher volume day. Today may slow down a little bit, but I would say just try and judge the opening swing there, and then the opening period, the A period, the opening 30 minutes, and get a sense for the volatility state of the day. And then maybe use that to kind of gauge how patient or aggressive you want to be with entries. But this is the last full week of trading before the holiday period, so it's going to be important to try and get into a runner if you're not already, and definitely hold on to that runner. There's always there's some expectation of potential Santa rally. Obviously, absolutely no guarantees, but we want to try and be on board for that if we can be. So yeah, moving into today then, plan for today, no no great setups up here. We're actually above all of Adam's levels at the moment. And so there are no kind of clear textbook failed breakdowns in the immediate vicinity. I suppose the first one is really, and Adam tweeted this, that 68, 63 was going to be the first support down. And I think about 20 minutes after he tweeted that, it tagged it literally to the tick. So, his wizardry continues. Obviously, 65 was quite an important level yesterday. But what that has done, and it's given us a little bit of a clearer low that just about meets the definition of a significant low here, that's bounced about 17 points. And he doesn't talk about this so much, but it is at a important level on the chart. So there is the potential for a flush and reclaim of this 63, 64 level. Obviously go off the 63 now that Adam kind of adjusted it and then it confirmed it perfectly. So that would be the first point of note. Maybe if we can come down here and even sweep the London session low, or tag per the newsletter plan was to test 54 and recover that. So that would be something. It would look even better if we pushed up off the open a little bit higher. Maybe made it 20, 30 point high before dipping, flushing, testing, and then recovering. So that's one option to look out for. But obviously the preferred options are lower down. We've got the 42, which was the reclaim that triggered last night. We just changed color here so it's a bit clearer.
Yeah, that would now turn into a pretty good failed breakdown. It would no longer be a reclaim if it triggers again. At 68.42. You also have the 68.35, a few points below it. That's also a pretty good low from last night. And then obviously the big low at 68.18, which originated this whole move. That would probably be the A plus best setup of the day. One thing to note, just for like myself personally, and if you guys think it's helpful, definitely feel free to adopt it. But after a day like yesterday, like for myself, where I took essentially a lot more trades, than a normal day, I was pretty active. Generally, the day after, I try to go the opposite of that. So I'm going to be a lot more picky today, especially because I have the runner from much lower. So I probably personally won't engage anything until the 68.35, or if we get the 68.18. If not, I'll just kind of let a runner work all day.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have a relaxing day and a runner if we can do. Seems like it's been a while since we've had one of those, so maybe we'll get it today. But who
It
knows?
seems like
Maybe
it's
it's
been a couple of weeks, not gonna lie. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, guys. I think that's about it for the plan. So yeah, hopefully we can get a dip either get a good dip to snag some of these lower levels, or just push up and hang on to our runners. Take either one of those. What we don't want to see is a sideways drop going nowhere. But if we do get that, don't sweat it. Just wait for one of these kind of elevated down sells through a significant level, and then obviously wait for the reclaim of that. So
Yeah, and I want to touch on one thing real quick before we head out, which was the trade yesterday at 68.33 on the failed breakdown. To some, maybe when you're watching it, you may have not have viewed that as acceptance type one, right? Because it was essentially just barcoding and basing underneath the level. In rare circumstances, we do get that though, where we just don't have an actual rejection right at the level, and that's okay as long as the actual structure of overall what's going on, which is we're essentially just trapping sellers and we're just essentially not able to sell further, is going down. That is also a variation of type 1 acceptance. So yes, it may not look like a textbook type 1 acceptance, but it is kind of a slight variation that we do get every once in a while. So it's just good to build that pattern recognition. I feel like we might see this every once in a couple of months, every once in a month, maybe, where you see something like that, where it's like, hey, this doesn't look like clear type 1, where we're not rejecting right at the level, but we're basing right underneath. And you can kind of just think of that as like a variation of type 1. However, even if you're not sold on it, you can always wait for the non-protocol acceptance, which actually is something I did anyways. I didn't really even take the long until 38. I gave it the 5 points of room and was just making sure that we were holding, just due to the volatility yesterday. I didn't want to get trapped myself on something. So just remember, if you guys are ever unsure about something, with acceptance, or you're not able to visibly see it as much as you would like, you can always wait for the non-acceptance protocol. That is also valid in every scenario.
Yeah, thanks. I am. I've been thinking about it in terms of a poker analogy recently. Like for those guys who play poker, if you could choose to sit in the button position, which is the last hand to play, if you could choose to sit in the button position every hand, that would be a significant advantage. And waiting for acceptance is kind of like that. You're waiting for the sellers to play their hands, and the type one acceptance is kind of the aggressive player who's bidding early. Type two acceptance is maybe the guy who comes in and raises on him. Type three is the guy who's got nothing and folds. And we wait for one of those to show their hand and jump in afterwards.
I don't play poker, so I don't know these references. But
Sorry,
for
man.
those that do, for those that do, I'm sure that makes a lot of sense. So
Okay, well, there's a lot of similarities there.
yeah,
Trying to work on my farming and my poker analogies,
I
but
know we got to
I'll
come up
try and
with
do
some
better
some
next
good
time.
analogies. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, I think that's about it. Someone's asking when are we going to get to 7K? Yeah, I don't know. We've been testing the bottom of the megaphone for a
Well,
number of
what's
days
weird with
now.
these what's the spread right now currently on ESH versus December contract? It's like 50, 60 points. So we're already 50, 60 points ahead, man.
Yeah, oh
we're,
yeah.
we're
Look at it
50,
like
60
that.
points closer to 7K than we were a couple of days ago.
Yeah, but it's been a long day. It's been a long time. Sorry, it's been a week since we've made the trip up to the top of the megaphone. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll save that for next week, or maybe we'll just fail and dip below. But that doesn't really matter. We'll just take our levels, take our trades level to level, and react to what's on the charts. Okay, with that, we'll catch you all in the Discord. Thanks, everyone.